Okay, good job on the tapping. This is very similar. Similar idea. You're not starting at 240. Um, so you had the tap, pull, hammer, pull, right? That's what we're gonna do this time. Starting up here, but what's interesting about this, at least what I think is interesting, is you're gonna tap, pull, hammer, pull off the same note. So you're going between two frets here. So like this, that sounds pretty fast, right? But we're gonna take that idea, make that sound stupid fast. So yeah, it's kind of a way of being able to do a little hammer-on pull-off trill just crazy fast. We're going to do it up here so we can use all four fingers. So yeah, we're going to tap the usual deal, middle finger. So for the 13th fret, use your ring finger. 12th fret, use your middle. Back to the 13th fret, use your ring. 15th fret, use your pinky. So working it up, just play it as is, but I think it's fun to play this thing on repeat, so I'll demonstrate that as well. And make sure this phone is not making a bunch of noise. Just heard a vibration. All right, there we go. There we go. Okay, so here we go. 60. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hundred, 1, 2, 3, 4. $140. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. $180. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, once you get things a bit fast or fast for you, try and do some repeats with it. Another thing you can do to make it more challenging, so instead of doing 4 taps on the same note each bar, 1, 2, 3, 4, do it twice. So that's another way you can do something like this. Or just one time each note, and then it gets really crazy. I can't do that twice as fast. That's silly. Anyway, yeah, that's a fun one to get going. Whew. Actually kind of goofed up there. I left my finger down when I shouldn't have. There we go. Oh, right. Let me go to... Hang on. There. We're going to start working with sixth chords. So, I'm going to send this PDF, and sixth chords are very similar to sevenths. And kind of in the way they're built, because you're adding the 6 or flat 6 to your triad. So you can add a 6 or flat 6 to a major chord. You can add a 6 or a flat 6 to a minor chord. You can add a 6 or a flat 6 to a diminished chord. So let's go into some details with some stuff that we will work on and, well, currently going to work on and stuff that'll come later. So the ones we're going to focus on are the major 6, minor flat 6, and minor 6 flat 5. And here's all that down here in order. So the 1, 4, and 5 chords can be a major 6. The 2 is the only one that can be a minor 6. The 3 and 6 chord will be a minor flat 6. And the 7th chord, of course, has the flat 5. So minor flat 6, flat 5. And then up here, it talks about the 5th interval being expendable. So if you have just like the root, 3rd, and 6, you basically have a major 6, no 5. Just like here, if you have like a minor, or the root, flat 3rd, and a 6, you have a minor 6, no 5. Just the same way we did with the 7, no 5. Just like we did the 7, no 5. I'm hearing radio signal coming out of my speaker right now. Man, I hope that is not coming through on the video. It usually doesn't. I've heard it happen once. Good God. So obnoxious. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. I'm going to walk through the first key here. And instead of 3 keys on this sheet, we have 4. So this way, you have 3 to work on yourself. So I'm going to do the first one so you can see exactly what we're going to do here. So we got two chords going to happen each bar. And this is a lot like we've done with like 7th chords and whatnot. So we're going to start with your basic triad. So chord number 1, C major. So the typical thing to do is look for the 5th interval and change that. That's something we can do. We can do the 5th interval and change that, or look for an octave of the root note and change that. Because I like to try and keep all the intervals possible, the first thing I would do is see, like, can I take an octave of the root note and lower it down to the 6th? So our octave is right here. Well, we can't go any further than that, so no, we can't do it there. However, we can take the 5th interval, the G, and raise that up to the A, which gives us this. So that is a C6. And in this case, to be real specific, it's a C6, no 5. So right away, we're starting with a chord that the 5th interval is expendable. So, but yeah, that's a way we can add in that guy. Just raise the G up to an A. Now, there goes that radio again. It's very faint. Man, oh man. So, when you pull up, like for this one here, you hit A to bring up your chord. The C6 no 5 is there. So, I just want you to see that. Because some of this chord stuff will not come up the way we want it to. Alright, so the next chord, chord number 2, get your D minor. So now I'm going to look for an octave of that root note, which is right there on the B string. So we go down 2 notes in key, so D, C, B. That gives us a D minor 6. Alright, E minor is chord number 3. Alright, so tell you right now, none of the octave stuff can be dropped down to get to, in this case, a flat 6. So how do we know it's a flat 6? Well, the easy way is just look up there at the mode info. It tells you what kind of 6. Right there. Also, if you go up to, well, no, we'll just leave it at that. I don't want to get too confusing right now. So this is an instance where you want to take the 5th interval and raise it up to the next note in key. So the next note in key, going from B, is up to C. When you go a half step up from the 5th interval, that is a flat 6, also known as a minor 6. So flat 6 and minor 6 is the same thing. So we can do this. What I really like to do is to make that flat 6 stand out. So we're going to take the open B string and raise that up to a C. So that's got a nice unsettling sound in a very pleasing way. It fits really well doing something like that. You have that minor flat 6 to the minor chord. So when you look at the Chords Guitar Pro Presents, this is just silly. It just brings up E minor. Like, no. I mean, it even shows right there it has a C note. Bring down the drop-down menu. Like, yeah, this one, it doesn't show up. For some reason, minor flat 6 is like, they never talk about it. Well, they're hardly talked about. And I have never seen, I don't think I've ever seen Guitar Pro actually auto-generate a minor flat 6. But that's what it is. It has the root, the flat 3rd, and the 5. So the minor chord plus a flat 6, minor flat 6. All right, chord number 4, F major. So here, yes, we can take this octave of the root notes, the F located on the D string, and we go down to the E and then down to the D. So octave of the root note, go down 2 notes in key. That gives us our 6th interval. Now, that means we gotta lift some stuff up here. And you do have the option of adding in maybe one other string. But you could do something like that. Ow. My pinky did not like that. What I opt for in this situation, I just leave the rest out. Basically, we're going from here. We're taking the B and the high E string out of the equation, taking the octave of the root note and dropping it down 2 notes in key, giving us the 6th interval. How do we know it's the 6th interval? We can always double check within the major scale. So the D note, F, G, A, B flat, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6th interval. So if we wound up with a D flat, we would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we could check it by flatting it. So anyway, hopefully that didn't just confuse you. I just realized that might be getting a bit too complicated. Alright, that does bring up the name we want. Moving ahead to the next chord. Chord number 5. G major. So this one, yes, we have another. This is cut off. There we go. We do have something we can drop down a full octave, or an octave change. Obviously not the open G string, we're not going to drop that down. But the G on the high E string, we can drop that down. So we can go down 2 notes in key, so G, F, E. So basically take that G chord and open up the E string. That gives us a G6. So G6 or G major 6, same thing. So when it came to 7th chords, like you had major 7 or just 7. So like C major 7 means you have the intervals 1, 3, 5, and 7, right? If you say C7, that's short for C dominant 7. So C7 is the same thing as C dominant 7, right? Dominant 7 has 1, 3, 5, flat 7. So when you say C7, it's a dominant 7. There's no such thing as a dominant 6th chord. It doesn't exist. So saying C6 is the same thing as C major 6. Same thing, no difference. There is no dominant 6th chord. Just so you know. Okay. Moving on. Chord number 6 is A minor. So, if we look for the octave to drop down, the octave of the root note is there on the G string. We go down one note to the G. Well, we can't go any further, so the idea of taking the octave of the root note and lowering it to the 6, in this case flat 6, can't do it for this shape. So, we got to do the other thing. We have to take the 5th interval and raise it up. So we take the 5th interval, raise it up to the very next note of the key. So let's do it this time. We're going to go, there's the 5th interval right there, the E note. What comes after E in this key? It is F. And remember, when we go up a half step from the 5th interval, that is a minor 6 or flat 6. So we can do it like this, where you go 0, 3, 2, 1, 0. Or we can raise the high E string up to the F. That's a nice sounding chord. Let's stick with that one. And yeah, it doesn't give the chord name, so got to put in A minor flat 6. You have to type that one in yourself. So yeah, all of the minor flat 6 chords, you have to manually input that. All right, so last one, chord number 7, B diminished. So when it comes to a diminished chord, the 5, because it is a flat 5, it is not expendable. You have to have it. You have to have the diminished sound. Now you could get rid of the flat 5 and replace it with, in this case, the flat 6, but you just have a minor flat 6, no 5. There would be no diminished characteristic, but you can still do that, and it's in key. But because we are learning this stuff right now, I want you to keep the flat 5 in there, so this way you can hear the sound and all that. So, B diminished, we're going to keep the flat 5. So we're going to look for the octave of the root notes, which is right there on the G string, and we go down 2 notes in key. So the B goes down to an A and then a G. Open G string. So we go from here to this. And we can add the G on the high E string. And then have that chord. So, this is the B minor flat 6, flat 5. What does Guitar Pro say it is? It just says B diminished. That's silly. Yeah, so B minor, flat 6, flat 5. There we go. So, that's what you're doing for the other 3 keys. Pay attention to the key signatures so you know which key it is. I think you understand that stuff pretty well, so that should go okay. Alright, I think that covers it. Any questions, let me know. And I will see you again next week.